Hey there Cosmic Warriors, and welcome back to another video. Okay, so in today's video we are going to be taking a look at the beauty, relationships, envy and seduction of those of you who have Venus located within the first house within your natal birth chart. However, before we do get started, make sure that you give this video a like if you like it today. Also make sure to subscribe if you have not already, and to click that little bell icon in order to keep yourself updated with further content from myself. And one more quick thing to mention here is that I currently have some really nice merchandise pieces available. So definitely be sure to go to my Teespring to check them out so that you can pick up a piece today if you would like. Alright, so with all those introductions out of the way, Venus in the first house individuals, let's do this. Okay, so first and foremost, it's also important to look to where Libra and Taurus are located within the chart, because the location of Venus will also influence your Libra and Taurus houses. Just wanted to mention that. Now, if you have Venus in the first house, then what this suggests is that, well, you're typically a likable, charming and endearing person. You're someone who is pretty easy to get along with, and you can be really skilled at bringing people together, really skilled at harmonizing conversations between you and others, and also skilled at harmonizing just situations overall. And you can also be highly accommodating people, highly agreeable, very cooperative, where you know how to get with the program, so to speak. And it's due to these many reasons that you might actually find that you gravitate towards jobs or situations that do require these social skills from you. Plus, you also might be pretty stylish and fashionable as well, where you know how to dress yourself, you know how to put a really great outfit together. Maybe for as long as you can remember, you've been called beautiful, or you've been called gorgeous or handsome. And even if you're someone with this placement who isn't typically or traditionally good looking according to society standards and expectations, you still manage to pull off a certain pleasant graciousness about you through how you come across and through your behavior. Therefore, you might be someone who makes friends or acquaintances more easily than most, or you might be someone who was popular or is popular in school. Maybe you're just a popular person overall due to your social and people relationship skills. Or perhaps you've experienced a few more crushes or admirers, more so than the average person, due to your allure and your pleasing demeanor. And so in this respect, it's you, Venus in the first house individuals, who can be quite gifted at getting an in with others, quite gifted and talented at getting people on your side or on your team. And when others are on your side or your team, boy, do you soak it up, because you love to be appreciated. You love to be admired and just loved by other people. You enjoy it whenever others notice you, whenever they connect with you, whenever they relate with you. See, for you, relationships are considered to be a pretty big part of your life and your journey. They certainly play a major role when it comes to figuring out just who you are as a person and as an individual. Therefore, you might be someone who actively seeks out relationships of any kind. Whether these relationships be something as superficial as asking the barista how their day is going, to something as deep and meaningful as committing yourself to another person for the rest of your life. Essentially, you know how to hold space for others. You know how to partner up with others, how to tag, sort of tag team with them. And you also know how to leave a long-lasting yet subtle impression on others as well. Then again, maybe depending on the sign, it may not be so subtle. Maybe to some, they see you as the hot person who goes to their school, or maybe to others, they see you as the really kind and courteous neighbour who picked up their parcel whilst they weren't at home. Or maybe to many, they see you as that really mysterious, attractive, great dancer who goes to the same club as them. But on the flip side of this, perhaps to certain people, they view you as shallow or as vain, superficial, possibly as someone who is high maintenance as well. See, what's also important to keep in mind when it comes to Venus is the side of Venus that can be overindulgent, gluttonous, greedy, and also the side of Venus that can become manipulative and overly concerned with admiration and desire. So when it comes to you, Venus in the first house individuals, you might have the tendency of seeking out pleasurable experiences only for your own benefit and at any cost, might I add, as well. And if another person comes into the picture, you might seek to satisfy them with money and materials without thinking about the consequences. Then again, it could also be the other way around. Whenever somebody else comes into the picture and you sort of expect them to shower you with gifts, to shower you with materials. And if this is the case, well, these types of things could lead to the likes of you falling short on money later on, where you might get into some sort of debt. Either that, or it's your partner getting into debt due to your idealistic expectations. Then again, it might be that you're so concerned with how your friends or with how your partner, how they see you, that you then sort of go out of your way to pull out all of the stops. So you might even bend over backwards for them, only to find yourself in a really difficult situation later on down the line. And there's also a potentiality here of you using subtle tactics as a way to get your way in order for your wants and for your desires to be met, or possibly as a way to have admiration and desire focused on you. Though to be fair, this might be where the sign and the aspects to Venus strongly come into play, because for some of you, you might go as far as becoming petty and competitive to ensure that you're first, or to ensure that you're the one who comes out on top. Envy might also enter the picture. Now, on one hand, it could very well be you becoming envious towards others, resulting in you doing everything within your power to get the job or to get the relationship or to get the material item. But on the other hand, it could be that you experience envy from others quite often towards yourself, Venus in the first house. Maybe for much of your life, you've crossed paths with people who have tried to take things from you. They've tried to take things that you own or that you possess, or perhaps people have made an effort to really go out of their way to put you down in some way due to their own insecurities and due to their own lack and shortcomings. So for example, maybe you're someone with this placement who is really good looking, but certain people have said things like, sure, I mean, they're attractive, but they're not really all that smart. They're not all that witty. Or maybe you're someone with this placement who is in a happy relationship, but then there's been certain people you've experienced who have tried to tear down your relationship. They've tried to split it up deliberately. Again though, it might be that it's you, Venus in the first house, who has felt envious towards other people's relationships and stuff. Perhaps there's been a point in your life where you've just sought to be the fairest and the most desirable out of everybody. Then again, perhaps as you've really grown older and you've entered into other stages of your life through maturing, you've learned many valuable lessons associated with these types of things. Though again, it's really good to look at the aspects and to look at the whole chart really. But following on from this point, I do think that a lot of your life path, it's strongly associated with these types of lessons. So it's really strongly associated with the likes of self-love and self-acceptance and self-appreciation. But at the same time, it's also associated with how you match up with others, you know, how you kind of pair up with them or how you come together into a union with them, which quite honestly, you might find challenging to do at times. And the reason for why this may be is because, well, finding a lover or finding a friend or a colleague, whoever, it might not be all that straightforward. I mean, sure, okay, if Venus is more harmoniously aspected, maybe developing and sustaining a long-lasting relationship is a bit more easier. Maybe you have more of a positive outlook towards your one-on-one relationships, or maybe keeping harmony feels much more natural to you. And it's these things that could possibly be due to a much more settling and harmonious upbringing as well on your part. But if Venus is more disharmoniously aspected, perhaps relationships are difficult for you to sustain. Perhaps certain people, they solely seek to take from you, or maybe they project all of their insecurities onto you. Though on the flip side, perhaps it's you who can have the tendency of reeling people in by using the art of seduction and admiration only to spit them back out as soon as you're done with them. Essentially, you might use seduction as a way to get what you want from others as you seek to satisfy your own personal desires, Venus in the first house individuals. So you might tell potential lovers or friends what they want to hear, or you might seduce others as a way to fulfill your personal wants and desires whilst masking it by making the other person or people believe that it's for their wants and desires. So things may get a little bit messy here, though what I will say is that you can be very good at seducing others. You can be good at getting other people to do what you want for them at times by using persuasion. And like I said, you may be great at getting other people onto your team. Though regardless here of the aspects as mentioned, there's still a strong emphasis on creating harmony, on creating balance. There's a strong emphasis on give and take between you and other people. Now, if this dynamic, if it leans more towards you, this is where we notice you receiving, you taking, you seeking admiration, love and pleasure, you seeking to fulfill your own wants and desires, and you seeking to gain self-satisfaction. But if this dynamic leans more towards others, this is where we notice that you are giving, you're contributing, you're seeking to please others and help them feel at ease. This is you seeking to fulfill other people's wants and desires, where you then become more concerned with what you can do for other people. So yeah, you might find Venus in the first house individuals that you can fluctuate, you kind of go back and forth between these things, but at the same time, I also understand that it's not as black and white as this either. And I think it also really depends on the situation and where you are in life as well. But I suppose another important thing to mention is how there may be a strong emphasis on your beauty and on your appearance too. Maybe growing up you were raised to appreciate beauty and also to appreciate art and music and food and culture, or maybe you just naturally gravitated towards these types of areas because of how they really appealed to you. Maybe for some of you, being well dressed or being polite and well mannered or being well put together was deemed as relatively important. Or perhaps you were surrounded by beautiful people and a lot of different nice things. And again, you yourself, you might have been called beautiful. Though, on the other hand, it could be that for others of you, that you haven't felt beautiful or attractive. Or maybe there's just days when you don't, you know, like most of us experience. But still, there is a potentiality here where Some of you have strongly struggled to accept your beauty and to accept your appearance. Like I said, aspects are good to look at, but these challenges, they might really cut deep for those of you who struggle with these things. And so in this respect, maybe you find it extremely difficult to accept yourself due to how just unworthy, how unlovable, and how invaluable you feel as a person. Though, on a much more lighter note, maybe there are many of you who have this placement who feel very secure in who you are as people. Maybe you're so secure that you don't let petty comments get to you. Maybe the kind of negative opinions of others, they just slide right off you. Now, that's not to say that they don't hurt. Okay, I just want to make that clear, but still, there's more of that stronger security within yourself to kind of go, you know what, I don't need to listen to this. I don't need to accept this. Then again, it could also be suggested that you're somebody with this placement who has really strongly worked on yourself throughout your life, where over time, you've learned many lessons associated with self-acceptance and self-value. And it's these lessons that have predominantly came into your life through your relationships with others, and also due to the relationship that you have with yourself. So sure, perhaps there's been times throughout your life, Venus in the first house individuals, where you've associated your self-worth and your beauty with how other people perceive you. But then there's been other times where you focus more so on how you accept yourself and how you perceive yourself. And if you haven't experienced these times, it might be a good idea to really start putting them into action, or to just kind of reflect a little bit on this video today. Maybe for many of you, you've gotten to a point in your life where you've just thought, you know what? I'm going to put myself first. I'm going to define who I am. I'm going to appreciate my worth, because hell, if I don't, then who knows what types of people I'll attract into my life. Or maybe there's others of you out there who have thought, do you know what? It's far better to accept and appreciate myself, because by doing so, I can accept and appreciate others as well. And if this is the case, if it is that you've learned more how to accept and appreciate yourself, then maybe you go on to have much more healthier and better and much more just nourishing relationships. And I also think that the same could be applied to your beauty and to your appearance here. So this whole notion of accepting your own beauty, even during those times whenever you're not feeling yourself, you know, it's like you're not going to let those off days completely define you as a person. And then also the idea of accepting other people's beauty here. So by maybe learning how to accept your beauty, you can then in turn accept other people's beauty without feeling intimidated or like you're in some type of rivalry with others. Though overall, Venus in the first house, you are someone who has style. You've got poise and grace and charm, and you can be very talented and gifted at appreciating other people and yourself, and you certainly do a great job at making other people feel at ease whenever you put your mind to it. Just remember though that as you become more concerned or preoccupied with maintaining harmony and balance, you're still within your human right to step up and to declare what it is that you want as well. That way, you are less likely to feel resentful or bitter later on. And that way, your relationships will involve more of that give and take that you seek. Okay then, Cosmic Warriors, so that concludes my video on the beauty, relationships, envy and seduction of those of you who have Venus located within the first house within your natal birth chart. Now, if you happen to have Venus within the first house, then definitely let us know what you thought of the video today. But with all that being said then, thank you so much for watching, thank you for subscribing, and of course if you would like to see more videos from myself and you have not yet subscribed, then make sure that you click that subscribe button, and also make sure that you give this video a like, remember, and I will be back with another video very soon. Bye!